Oh yeah, my bad. Let me. I don't really use it as much, but let me pull up the whiteboard just in case. Let me double check too. I'm pretty sure he's 2 p.m. 2 p.m. And Kyrie's 3:45. Pork bun went to her local. Yeah. Ugh. Banger. Nice. All right. All right. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Luckily, we're not actually technically in a rush this time. Although I have been enjoying keeping the format in terms of pacing, but we're actually in quite literally no rush because I only have to do 2 reviews today. I only got 2 submissions. Well, I got 3 submissions technically, but Pork Bun went to her local. She says it's on Saturday, so it's just you and somebody else, and you guys don't have adjacent timeline or adjacent times, so I'm not like worried about it at all actually. But I like the format. I think the format is respectful of people's time, so we're still gonna go with the 35 minutes. We'll eyeball it. Let me see. I haven't actually looked at. Struggle along when approaching the opponent. Start set out your zoning strategy. It's real pain. You need to move up since you don't really have a good way. Yeah, commit. That you get clipped by Pineberry a lot as they retreat. Zone you out. Ever trying to break through? They're free to do whatever they want. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, this matchup is get walled out vibes. Yeah. Nice. This is a good jump pass. Command grab is cheap. Meaty pine berries, toss. Shot. Into Oki. This is all kind of tough to interact with. Spacing it's at. A lot of 2H's at a block. Nice pine or nice misfiner. This does fall under the category of matches where people kind of can retreat versus Johnny a lot. We'll talk about it. There are just some matches where, in my opinion, that is like the vibe for Johnny. It is that he has to continue to walk slowly. But we will talk about a couple of things, especially in this matchup involving Pineberry zoning, that are like important to keep in mind in terms of like how you play around it. That's a good adjustment. Obviously, you don't always have 25 bar, but that type of like acknowledgement of like, yeah, I'm just gonna chase down is like very solid. There's Sniper. Once Sniper has been represented, I think I'm not too sure how Johnny Dash works out versus it, but it might be a little bit more interesting than other characters. Not like good necessarily, but it might be like pretty solid. Yeah, it's a little too close to get the 5H. Those pickups are always a little spacing dependent. This could kill, but it's a funky pickup because you're really close off the wall bounce compared to normal. No coins. We gotta get the hit. Honestly, nice. Every time you get hit instead of going into black. You trying to backdash? Yeah, sometimes proximity block messes with stuff like that, I think. Don't quote me on that, but like proximity block in this game is pretty whack sometimes. Sometimes that kind of thing can happen. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about Pineberry. Pineberry is important to understand that. That was really good spacing. We're also going to talk a little bit about, even though it's not related, this is a matchup where there are some things to consider with how you apply pressure. And it's pretty hard versus Pineberry, especially now that Pork Bun does a lot of super jump pine pull to escape the corner, since I told her that that shit is really hard to stop. Level 3. We're also gonna start to maybe introduce some tricks into some of the stuff you do. Let me pause real quick. Get my notepad out, 'cause I keep forgetting to do this. Alright, sorry. Write some notes down. Some blockable. Also, we talked about it, but I'll explain it because I'll explain it right now actually because it came up. And it's kind of like one of those things that's weird to explain if it doesn't if it doesn't if it's not something you've seen. So the way Bacchus unblockable works, in order for it to be like unfuckwittable, this situation is actually fine. Because if somebody doesn't have 25 bar, you can just throw one coin and press 2S. And if they don't have a DP, I think you're fine. I think DPs, reversals, are like the only things that'll mess with this. Because if you don't do it exactly right, then you might 2S like into the DP as it's still active. Don't quote me on that, but that's like, you might still need to throw 2 coins on characters with DPs. But if they don't have a DP, generally the way it works is less than 25 bar, you throw a coin, right? The coin is designed to meaty them, and then you press 2S. If they backdash the coin, but the 2S will hit them airborne, and you'll get 2S into K misfinder anyway, right? If they block, they'll block the meaty, they'll get 2S, they'll get unblockable by the misfinder, right? The only thing that kind of messes with this is once they hit 25 bar, if you throw a coin as the meaty and then you 2S, you're gonna blitz the coin as the defender. Blitz, the moment you do it, kind of gives you a little bit of invincibility. Like the very moment you do it, it basically gives you a little bit of like strike invul. And the 2S will go through the blitz. Like it'll go through it the way it times off the coin, and it'll let them kind of escape the situation. The thing that you do as Johnny to catch it is you throw a second coin. You do coin, coin, 2S, right? The first coin meaties, the second coin hits around the time the blitz recovers into counter hit state, and then you get the pickup, right? Similarly, if they do any reversals or anything, the second coin kind of like catches the timing, right? And if they get hit, it combos, and if they block, then 2S unblockables, right? But that's like the reason they're doing it. If for whatever reason it wasn't clear, because it's a little funky why they do it. It's also, you don't need to do it. Like, that's like a thing I like kind of. We'll watch one more. I think we got enough info for a couple things to talk about. But basically, the idea is if they're actually beneath 25 bar and they don't have like a DP, you don't need to throw 2 coins. You actually only need to throw one. There's no need to waste the second coin. It doesn't actually it's not needed in that context. Game 2 and 3 was rough. You could have fooled me. These have been alright so far. Unless that was game 1. That might have been game 1. Nice shot. Yeah, plus on block, you gotta be careful. Spaced out dive kick, especially, is like definitely plus on block. Nice throw. Nice catch on the mash. This is gonna double hit. Yeah, it's not spaced well. Ooh, that's spooky. They got the JD snipe. They get the pickup. They didn't extend, but they didn't need to. This is a tough situation to escape a nice JS to zone. Nice catch. I was gonna tell you you should do a little bit more super, not like a crazy amount. This is like more like a side note. It's not like a don't worry. It's like a don't worry about it too much. But Johnny Super is usually relatively safe. Like the punishes on it are usually kind of like eh. So sometimes it's okay to send it on it. This should kill. Oh, they messed up the sequence a little bit. But it's just one of those things. Like sometimes it might be really obvious. Sometimes it'll get baited anyway. But Johnny Super is just like pretty solid value, especially if you're about to die. Good escape on their part. Yeah, a little early on the shot. They actually needed to do like a couple more hits of 5H. I like this spacing. This solid spacing for Johnny Min. We'll talk about. It's not always Johnny's job to approach, especially once you start to get the lead. It's actually not that big a deal. It's burst on their part. It's air dash. Or sorry, a throw on the air dash. Gets the pickup. 50-50 vibes. Shot and a pineberry toss 6p. No, just meaty close slash. This is tough to escape without resources. Nice block on the 6p. Still got to keep blocking because shotgun. Chip is a factor. Doom. We'll also talk about shotgun a little bit. It's a little tricky for Johnny. Me forgetting what I told you last time. Nah, it's more complicated than that. Also, what I like to do is I said I was only gonna watch one more, but I like to skip ahead. So as long as it's still the same. Oh, there's a short set. All right, never mind. There's a short ass set. I didn't realize this was like a Rev Tuesday thing. Okay, my bad. We'll just watch the whole set then. We'll watch the whole set. I was gonna skip like much later into the set. I thought it was a session. All right, this works though. Nice. These are really good spacings, honestly, on the Camus Finders. Despite what you might think, these are really good spacings on the Camus Finder. Like, this is usually where you want to be ripping it around here. K Finder is okay to whiff. That's kind of like the point, right? You want it to be spaced where people swing into it. You don't want to like overextend too often with it. That's like a good idea to have with Camus Finder, in my opinion. It's just like sometimes you'll move forward and check people, but a lot of the times it's okay to have people just like kind of run into it. Yeah, there's one more piece of notes I'm gonna write on top of like shotgun stuff, but that's a lot of notes already. So oh, miss minor input. Nice escape on their part. It's tough to reestablish control as Johnny, especially without levels. They get the timing on the pickup. 6p. This is going to go through because of the upper body invul. Yeah, that's a 2.1 buff. She used to not have that. 6p again. Chip is a super huge factor. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to not get chipped as anybody there. You think shotgun you're fishing too much for the IB on shotgun blast? We will talk about it. We'll talk about it. Johnny has a weirder time than other people because his jump isn't like... His jump is a weakness for once, I think, versus shotgun. Having a high jump arc is not... it doesn't feel good versus shotgun, is the way I would put it. Shot. Get smoked. Tick this is all the meter in the world. The world is her oyster. Like, this shit is just like... You're just getting fucked at this point, basically. And that's not, like, necessarily a you thing. Sometimes you just lose enough exchanges in a round that... The momentum is like very not in your favor. Resource wise, like you're just at a deficit. That's one of those rounds. That's not like an indicative round of anything besides like, oh, I lost a couple of exchanges at the beginning. I lost a couple of important exchanges at the beginning. You're just like, I need to IB this. I mean, you kind of do, but we're gonna talk about some alternatives with shotgun stuff specifically. You're really frustrated with the set. It's sets where you went from having like a lot of control to a mix of messing up like tangible things and also just being wrong are some of the worst feeling sets, in my opinion. There's something to be said about like, especially when you performed well initially, that let me grab my stick. Especially when you were like doing well initial game, and then you mess up things on your end, which causes you to lose a bit of momentum. Oh, let me change the game capture. We were still on Claire Obscura. All right, we're good. Right, like those things cause you to essentially lose momentum. Then you get put in a disadvantageous situation, and then things kind of steamroll or like run away from you at that point, and it can get kind of tough. Right, and then at that point, that's like the most generic kind of like reassurance I can give is like that is kind of just fighting games sometimes. Sometimes like fighting game players have fragile like strategies, right? Like you understand what you're doing, but you don't understand what your opponent is doing enough to stop it, right? So in some ways, like losing the initial control is like all it takes to lose a set. But yeah, we're gonna talk about. This is a tangible thing. I'm gonna introduce this as like the first thing, my first tip. You probably already do it, but in case you don't, I think you're already comfortable enough that it's probably time. If you do it correctly, if you practice this is a frame trap, like off of like any like point blank 2H. This is a frame trap on a lot of characters. Miscancel into jump kick here is oftentimes just a frame trap. It's really important to represent. It's really important because I'm going to introduce a trick, and that is you do that so that people let you do this, right? This is a really interesting pressure reset that kind of like forces people to consider trying to get out or trying to represent things, right? Really what I'm saying is practice this a little bit. So that you can get used to what you want to do, right? Like you can do something like button, 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 and then like walk up and throw, right? Or button, land, or throw, right? Like you have a lot of control off of this air dash when you kind of get a feel for it. The way you keep people to respect it, because the air dash is super fake, right? People can blitz it, people can press a button a lot of times, is you press jump kick, adds a frame trap here, like that. Oh, it's been a while. And then you press 5K, 5H, right? And it'll just combo on hit. Like, if you hit that, it just combos on hit. I'm gonna show you how it looks, right? Let's just block first hit only. Oh, let me see. Is this actually just a true block string? If they regular block it? That's like low-key even better in some ways. This might be like... Yeah, that's crazy. That's a true block string on regular block. I thought it was a fake block string. So if they IB, it's a fake block string. Yeah. And then it just combos, right? It combos, if they block it, it's whatever, right? Everything that's not level 1. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't suggest that at level 1. I would never suggest that at level 1. But try that a little bit. If you're already liking like 2H, especially to try to bait throws and stuff, this is how you bait throws and continue your offense right away, you know? Right? That's the reason I mention it, because I saw a lot of 2Hs, so I'm like, okay, this is like probably a throw / like mash attempt, but in order to keep your offense going, learn to do the miscancel a little more, and learn to do the air dash reset a little bit. Practice it at level 2 a lot more than level 3. Level 3 is very easy to get it at. Practice it at level 2. That's why I'm just like hitting it. I forget that you could basically just buffer it and you'll get it. But not super complicated, just something very grindable, something very important to work on. Another thing I was gonna say, and I don't have like a clear-cut example in my head, I would probably say if you did it off of 6H, it's an okay point to do it. If you put yourself either in a situation where you're doing this, or maybe even this, but not this as much because you're really far most of the time, but off of 5H for sure, there are a lot of characters that jump out of block. There are a lot of characters that jump versus you, like in general as Johnny, right? They get to about this distance, and if you're alpha, you use something like this, and you just get out, right? He pushes you to like 5H miscancel range. He doesn't press a button immediately, and you do this, and you go all the way to the other side of the screen, and you get out, right? Most people realize they can't go through Johnny, so they go above him, right? That means that there are some characters where, despite how uncomfortable it might feel, something like 5H, 6K, immediately, like this is important. You need to do it. This button is how you can check a lot of jumps, potentially, without having to use a coin or your meter, right? a lot of the times it's very like let me bind this macro because it's been a while since I played Johnny, and if I don't have the macro, I'm kind of whack with its YRC, right? So a lot of the times this is the thing I see a lot of Johnnies like get used to. A lot of Johnnies will do something like this. They'll get to far slash and they'll go, damn, if I press far slash into something else, then it's gonna be fake enough that they're just gonna jump out of it, right? I need to do like far slash into coin. That can maybe catch the jump, get me like pressure resets, but it is expensive, right? It is expensive. That doesn't mean don't throw coin. I literally have told you, like, I'd rather you throw coins than not throw coins because it's important. That for sure, like, throwing coins is fine. But if you're really comfortable understanding, like, they're probably gonna jump, right, in this situation, do 6k. 6k has very little downsides. This move whiffs and Johnny's press 5k and they recover in time to, like, usually get away with it. Like, I quite literally have been hit by this into 5k. Most people are not ready to hit this shit, even on whiff. Like, it's just so jarring, right? My point is when you start to get kind of pushed out, if you miscancel off something good like a heavy button, whiffs, just mash 6k. Mash 6k. They have to FD it. They can't air block this because it's a grounded button or whatever. So you'll get... The trickiest part is getting a good confirm with it. It's a really, like, wonky button to be readied for the pickup, right? Because it's, like, it doesn't actually jump cancel, but it's got mad stun. So you're going to have to, like, really feel out what your combo is for it. This is why I don't tell Johnnies to do this as much at the beginning, because the confirms can be a little weird. If you want something stable off of it, just hit it, and then when you go for the pickup, just spend the 2 coins. Or not the coins, spend the K misfiner earlier, is, like, something you can do. Right, so that's like an easy way to try to force just the knockdown, because like I said, this button is really weird to get pickups off of. It's not like a super normal hitting type of move. It's also not always hitting at the same height, which is annoying for Johnny in terms of hit confirming. But yeah, use 6k more to catch. Like Porkbun got to jump a lot, so if you have a pretty confident read on the jump, just do the 6k. You're only -1. If you're really confident, you just press 5k right after. If you want to play it a little safe, backdash into far slash is really good off of it, right? Backdash far slash is the GOAT. Backdash into redash is honestly surprisingly good. But yeah, use 6k for sure in pressure to check jumps. One of the other things I'll say, pressure, since we're on the topic of pressure and we might as well, I'm going to get to what you actually asked about. Well, that's the last thing we're going to talk about. When you throw a coin, you gotta practice, and this is like an actual thing you can practice in training mode. Do a couple block strings and throw a coin and learn how to tick throw off of it, specifically. Sometimes you get some conflicting feelings with coin, and what I mean by that is, like, let me set it up like this, right? So sometimes if you just run in and press a button, then... and they got hit by coin, if you immediately press a button, you're getting a combo, right? Like, coin into 5k into this is just a combo, right? So sometimes you'll give people the benefit of the doubt. In other words, you'll do something like this, and you'll kind of set up the tick throw, and you'll realize, damn, if I had just pressed the button off the coin, I would have comboed, right? This is one of those moments where I would say, that's like fighting games. Sometimes you give people the benefit of the doubt, sometimes they didn't deserve it, and sometimes you lost on opportunity because of it. But you weren't throwing the coin with the intention of them getting hit. You were throwing the coin with the intention of setting up a situation. And in order to set up the situation, you kind of have to be locked in beforehand. You're not focused on trying to hit confirm the coin. You'll do something like this as Johnny, right? You'll do until, like, I don't know, it doesn't matter, right? You'll throw a coin at around this distance. You'll dash off the coin. You're either gonna, like, take a step forward and throw like this, right? Or you're going to throw coin, take a step back, and do, like, 2 buttons. Usually 2k 2d is, like, very solid because you're already in a throw situation. So 2 consecutive loads is really strong. 2k 2s is really good too. But obviously it's like... it's a similar vibe. There's not really too much difference between the two. You can also just do a comfort thing. You can do 2k far slash so that you have the extra block string options afterwards with 2s and etc. Right? My point is, if you do it correctly, this catches a jump, right, at certain distances as Johnny. Like around here, people have to block this coin. Even if they like try to jump, they usually block it and then fall to the floor, right? Let me see if maybe I can get lucky and show it. Let me see. Let me see. Right. So this situation is what I'm talking about, right? It's a little hard to set up in training mode in terms of practicing the actual like tick throw situation. But my point is like, let's say I do this as the aggressor, like around here, right? So I'm gonna do this. Don't practice it like this. Again, it's hard to practice training mode. I just want to show what it looks like, right? So throw the coin, catch the jump. Johnny is a strike throw character in my eyes. When people start to learn to either push Johnny out and jump into their really good escape options, or just wait until he pushes himself out and then gamble between like mashing in place or jumping, it can get very hard as Johnny to consistently control situations. So putting a coin out like this puts you in enough advantage to force them to guess right on your terms, right? In other words, like I throw this coin, I take a step back, I take a step forward, and then I can throw, right? And it's like, huh, they just kind of have to escape the throw the way they normally would. You're forcing yourself into this distance. It's actually a lot like, we talked about this vaguely last time, or the time before, I forget. It's this distance, right? The coin puts you in the same distance you were doing strike throw in, right? Like, the same way that you can do, what was it? It was like, let me try to remember this combo real quick. The easy one, because I'm bad. It should work, yeah. So, this situation, this distance of I can walk up and throw, I can walk back and do 2 hits, and then rip finer on hit, right? That situation might look that spacing might look really familiar because it's this spacing. Right? That's how you get there from pressure as Johnny. That's how you force it, is throw a coin and then kind of take a couple steps, right? The problem, if you want to call it that here, is that you can be wrong. You can be wrong, but the difference is you have control of it. If you're really worried they're going to escape throw, then bait it, right? Don't do throws. If you're confident you think they're going to wait around, then go for your throw, right? You'll get some free damage, you'll get an Okazema opportunity, right? And it comes at the cost of the coin, but you're forcing the initiative, and that is important. That is very important, right? That's why I say, like, when you throw this, I saw a lot of moments where you threw coins and you run up, but it feels like you do pressure every time. You do like coin, and then you run up and you do this, or you do coin and you like press this. And if they're already committed to blocking, coin is your safe reset to do this, see? How I just throw coin and then walk up and throw. The tricky part is that this involves understanding your opponent, right? It's not an automatic, like, there's a difference between playing a character that does 6p with a meaty, right? Like, I'll give her as an example, right? Elphelt knocks you down, she puts this on you, and she forces you to be right. Defensively, like, you have to guess high or low, and if she is correct and you are not, you just get smoked, right? Johnny doesn't do that as frequently as other characters, right? He has to engage with like player decisions more. Like player decisions where when they're right, their reward is not necessarily blocking. Like they might escape throw, etc. Right? But for him, this is the name of the game, right? This is when people feel like they do that to you, or they're not, you're just like, I can't seem to open them up, right? I'm either pushing myself out and they're escaping, or I'm wasting all my resources. I'm wasting all my resources like way too constantly. It's time to be a little bit more patient and do this. Or it's time to do coin into weight into pressing 2 lows like that. And then you'll catch a lot of jumps, honestly. You'll catch a lot of people mashing, trying to jump, etc. The key here is practicing the timing. It takes a while to get used to the timing here as Johnny. This is a thing that takes practice. But use your coins to set up strike throw. Now that you're used to throwing coins, use it to set up strike throw like this, right? And my one like thing I'll reassure you with is, yeah, you're gonna be wrong. That's okay. That's not a big deal. Like, I want you to practice that situation because you're gonna do it eventually. Trust me. Like, you can't escape from it. It's too important from Johnny. Let me see. That like you might as well start practicing now, especially because I've seen you sometimes you fight people that mash into coin, and that's awesome. You just kind of smoke them for free now, but you got to get better at forcing them to hold the coin and then guess, basically. The last two things we're going to talk about is like the neutral related things, right? So we're going to record old reliable, aka this, right? So if you're doing this, right, Pineberry, toss, I could record this better, I guess, right? We'll do it like this, right? Something like this is very like, damn, no matter what, it feels like she's just getting initiative here. I'm either blocking her, I'm blocking the Pine, etc., right? There's a million examples, but Pork Bun was essentially doing this in different ways, right? Throwing Pineberry in different ways. We'll record another Pineberry toss just to show it, right? So, you were there for part. Yeah, so Pork Bun is good at getting better. She's getting better at using Pineberry, right? The thing about Pineberry you have to remember is they made this a thing. You can hit Pineberry now. The same way you can hit swords and all that shit. Like, you can interact with Pineberry. So depending on how they do it, if they do something like this, kind of lazily, hit the Pineberry away, right? With the quick button. Do not fall asleep at the wheel. Like, there are better situations to do this and there are worse situations to do this. My advice would be to just feel it out, right? But for example, like if they're gonna throw this and you see the low toss, press something like at this distance, you press 2S and it hits the Pineberry away, right? It hits the Pineberry away and now only Elphelt is what you deal with. The Pineberry is gonna tumble behind her, right? It makes her block strings worse. It makes her pressure resets not a thing anymore, right? Like, it's good to not just give this to her for free. You want to give this, like, you want to hit it away. Especially because, let me see. Let me double check. But I think at level 1, you just whiff, right? That's like a thing a lot of Johnnies forget in this matchup. Is like, this is just going to whiff at level 1, right? It's one of the few times, like, Misfiner's not putting in work for you in neutral. If they're throwing Pine. If they're throwing Pine, like, just use different normals. They're all, like, about just what normal hits, right? Similarly with like a setup like this, it might seem uninteractive, but if you hold the right spacing, you can press Pineberry and then you can press against Pineberry and then retreat defensively like that and then reset. But you might think like, all right, well, nothing changed, and you're kind of right, nothing changed, but you're not holding Pineberry pressure anymore. She doesn't have the advantage the way that she used to, right? Johnny actually has a grounded normal to do this, depending on the spacing. 5P is very potent for smacking away Pineberries at that exact angle, right? Like if you're chilling here, you can tap 5P depending on these angles, and you can just kind of like smack it away. You can just snap your fingers and snap and hit it away like that, right? It depends how you want to do this, because you can like, again, keep in mind there are different ways to go about it, right? Like I wouldn't actually recommend smacking here because she lines up with Pineberry. So if you do this and you try to smack it, the timing isn't quite there for you on this. See? 2S is the button I was going to say. At this distance, a lot of times you can like backdash in 2S. On a setup like this, you can backdash in 2S. And if you do it right, you'll just like smack the Pineberry back into her in a distance where you're safe, right? And now actually for the next second or two, she doesn't have Pineberry as an option. She has to pull it again, redo the whole process, etc., right? And that gives you opportunities to sneak in with this, right? Like, that means this is fair game. That means a bunch of things. Yeah, Misfinder, like, if you want to talk about something like this, this will hit. I'm not really trying to, like, tell you, like, yeah, Misfinder, do this. My point is, like, when you see Pineberry coming at you, try different buttons to hit it. The most notable buttons are buttons like 5P, right? Like, at certain angles, 5P is very good, but if she's approaching behind it too early, you might put yourself in a bad spot. Like, I wouldn't 5P that for obvious reasons. Where the distance where you're hitting Pineberry there is not, like, a good distance. You can also just, like, far slash it, depending on the angle. 2S, I find, is really consistent for Johnny, for hitting Pineberry away. But do not let her always Pineberry for free. If she throws it on the ground, 2K it, 2S it, etc., hit it a couple times to let them know. If they're a really good Elphelt player, they'll punish you for doing that. And they'll play around you trying to hit it. It's a lot like if you watch tag fighters, people calling their assist, just so that it gets hit, just so that they hit you hitting it, right? Like, there's some levels to it, but the TLDR is like, yes, she is forcing a slow approach. The difference is, it felt like they got to do whatever they wanted, in my opinion, because she kept throwing Pineberry setups at you, and you kept blocking them. So every time she wanted to take initiative, she just did, right? You need to learn to back up, hit Pineberry, and then let her do it all over again. And when she's trying to set that stuff up is usually when stuff like what's the YYRZ is better, basically. You do stuff like that. But other than that, I actually thought your neutral was good. I really did think your neutral, you got a lot of level 1 hits, like a lot of various level 1 hits. If she goes into sniper like this, I usually just kind of walk it down like this, right? If you notice, I'm taking space, right? I'm not actually walking back and forth. This might look like I'm walking back and forth, but I'm not. I'm taking space, right? That's kind of interesting, right? It's walking a little bit and then blocking and then walking and then blocking. It throws the timing off essentially, right? Sniper to me is never a big deal because you can kind of walk and then block and then walk and then block. And they have to snipe you in the moment you're blocking or you're walking or whatever, right? I don't actually mind sniper from Elphelts that much because it takes a really long time for the reticle to pop, right? So it's a psychological thing to me where it's like I just take a step and block, take a step and block. I know as long as I get out of the range of the reticle, like eventually by jumping or doing whatever, like no Elphelt player is going to do this when I can walk out of it. Right? Yeah, this is also good too. I usually never really give Johnny's too many like metered options to escape neutral except this. It's just a personal preference thing. That's like the biggest reason. But yeah, yeah, the YYRC I think is fine. I think there's no need to reinvent the wheel. You got multiple hits off YYRC. Don't even sweat it. Like, this is more than good enough. MKJ is right. If you want to do this, it's a good way to sneak by people really quick. But yeah, sniper is actually not that big a deal in my opinion. Take space and then block. Learn when they're actually shooting the shot and block around then and then take space. Even if you eat the unblockable, like, it's not the end of the world in my opinion. She's really far. She won't get like crazy Okazeme. I thought everything else was fine. I honestly think like it was just the Pineberry mostly. Last thing we're gonna talk about, shotgun pressure. Right? Oh my god, it's been a minute, hold on. Oh my god. It's this is like so much slower than I think. Right. Good enough, good enough. So everybody wants to do this, right? Oh my god, this is like such a slow shotgun pressure sequence. Can't IB it? It's too slow. So everybody wants to do this. Everybody wants to IB 5k as Johnny, right? That's fine. It is easier said than done. So I usually don't tell Johnnies to like worry about it too much, right? Like obviously if you wait a little too long, then the rejects don't work anymore, right? That's just like the name of the game. In my opinion, I think shotgun is fucked up no matter what. So what I'm basically gonna say is, when you're in the situation as Johnny, if they're actually just doing this, I will usually spend a little bit of bar to help push them out, like this, right? But the key thing about shotgun is basically if they're being really overzealous, if they're mashing on this, if they're mashing on shots, right? She's pushing herself out. Right? It might not feel like it, but basically in my eyes, if you're not comfortable hitting like certain instant blocks, etc. versus Alpha, you're basically just waiting for her to get around here. She has to come back on top of you, right? Like, yeah, she could fire like big shot, but now she's even farther, right? The idea to me is eventually when she's like far enough, Alpha has to try to get back in. And she's almost always going to do it with shotgun ass, right? If they're a good Alpha player, they'll do it around here. Because this isn't throwable. If they're not comfortable, if they're really impatient and they like doing it early, they'll do it around here, which is throwable, right? Shotgun, notably on block, on regular block, not faultless defense block, regular block is even, right? In other words, if she does this, let me just record like, right? If she does this, you can mash throw here. Like you can just mash, like throw OS ideally, but 4H is fine, right? This is a really easy level 1 check to Elphelts that aren't comfortable with shotgun pressure, is to wait for when they do shotgun S, right? If they're really telegraphed, actually, let me record this with like, let me record this doing punch, right? Because this is a 3-frame option. This is a 3-frame button, right? So if I waited for this and press a button, I'm gonna get frame trapped, right? I don't have anything fast enough here, right? So I'm gonna throw in this situation instead. See? She doesn't get the punches, right? You can still do this when she's further away if you instant block, because it'll reduce the distance and put her in throw distance again, right? Eventually, Elphelt
can space far enough that you can't get the throw. But one, those are better Elphelt players. Two, she's got to be kind of far. She's got to be like over here, which means regular shots don't hit you, period, anymore. Which means suddenly you press stuff like this, it's not that bad, right? My easy advice to people versus Elphelt pressure is to be a little patient and wait for where they reset. You can also do this if you're really confident you know when they're going to reset. There's always the gap that goes into it, right? You can always just wait for shotgun S, and because she is doing the hit, she is going to get rejected off the blitz, right? You might notice this advice is not stable, but that's not what I'm giving you. I'm not giving you stable advice. It's really hard to... There is no just do this versus shotgun. It's too good of an option. Shotgun is a thing where I've seen some of the best players in the world be wrong versus shotgun and then lose right after. Like, they just lose rounds to this shit. So don't worry about the fact that you can be wrong, but I do want you to consider that if you recognize the distances on stuff like that, you can get resets. You can do stuff like this, right? Just be mindful. She has a lot of tricks. She can do shotgun S. Let me see. Oh my god, give me a... Oh, it's been so long. I always forget I have to reload for the heavy. Oh, or the S. Hold on. I know what I'm doing, I swear. No, I always forget to put it back for the S input. It's so much slower than I remember it. Here, we'll do let me just do it. There's no reason to do it with shots. So if she does this, this is actually throw invulnerable. This is super toxic. You cannot throw this, but a lot of the times she ends up out of throw range on command grab. Not always, but if you notice, I'm mashing throw here, and like sometimes I could get thrown if I'm like not fast enough, right? But it's just like it kind of depends, right? Like this is a pretty slow command grab, so this isn't really an option off of it. But shotgun D is throw invulnerable during the startup. So if you weren't mashing throw correctly, you're not gonna get it, right? Like you're not gonna get this hit. You're gonna get something that looks like this. And you're like, wait a minute, what happened? You know, like I mashed throw, what happened, etc. Right? Like something like that can happen where in your head you were expecting throw, but it's throw invulnerable, so you get 4H input instead. Most 4Hs are fast enough to beat the startup on shotgun D anyway. But I'm telling you that this exists just so you don't freak out when you get this hit and wonder what's going on. If they do shotgun S into command grab and you were mashing throw, that's why that happens. It's because you can't throw the startup of that option, right? But that doesn't mean don't mash throw in that situation. It actually still works out. As you can see, like, pressing throw here still worked out. It's just really weird to be ready for the hit, right? Like, no one's ready for this hit. But just know that can happen. But yeah, that's basically it. That was a lot of really fast-paced advice, but that's it. Write all that stuff down if you want. Those are like really fast hits. Practice some of that tangible stuff. Practicing your offense is always more bang for your buck than practicing your defense in this game early on. That's why I gave you all those tips at the beginning for like, yeah, try these things. These are like things I noticed. If you're struggling with shotgun, try those things instead. And then the neutral I thought was fine. Just smack Pineberry a little bit more, and everything else will be all right. Don't be in a rush. You're not in a rush as Johnny. But yeah. This is, I'm not gonna lie, this is an awkward situation. Oh, so you're free to go. You have obligations. So I'll catch you later, dog. I don't have any other VOD reviews until I do Kyrie's VOD review at like 3 o'clock or whatever time she specified. You can do it now if you want. There is no line. There's only 2 submissions today. So it's up to you. Either I kill my stream right now. If you want to do it, we might as well. Yeah, we'll just do it right now. We might as well. Pull up the VOD. Because otherwise I would have just gone to go get food, came back at 3:45, and then like just pasted my VODs together basically. Alright, let's get the VOD up. Oh, this is not the character I expected. Not that that's a problem, but I definitely I definitely expected a different character. I was like, dang, she's kind of down bad about Kai these days. I figured it would be Kai. Where's my... There it is. Timer, 35 minutes. I guess, let me... I almost always forget to look at these. Alright, nothing specific, so we'll just see what I come up with. Cool. What is this? This is already like mid-set kind of. We'll skip a little bit. I like skipping a little bit since it's such a long VOD anyway. We'll skip to about 10 minutes. We'll skip to about 5 minutes in and playing each other. Just in case. I like to skip to where people have already felt out each other's options. Plus, this game ends like right around now-ish. So, this works out. Alright. Gets caught by the glide. Relatively safe. Good mash. Oh, like funky misinput moment. Okay, no greedy reglide. Pretty respectful Raven offense so far. 5H to check. Nice. Oh, yeah, you got a bridle at that height. I don't think 5H knocks down that late. Will I be at Calm Breaker? No, I didn't set that up. I was lazy. That's on me. I could have gone. I just wasn't prepared enough. Good burst. Dive kick's okay. Dive kick is like pretty alright on trades there. It's not the worst idea. I like backdash around start. Pretty safe. Blitz. Actually, I want to check this really quick. It's just a little bit slow. You should have enough time for that, probably. Blitz is respectable there. They can always just press the media on the way down. It's clipped. Let me write my first thing down. I keep forgetting to write stuff down. Good mash. Should be a free meaty. Let's pick up. This should be good. Raven Oki if they want it. Oh, opts for the scratch. Cool burst moment. Damn, Far Slash is so forgiving. I can't believe Far Slash still picked up like that. Yeah, weird timing on the bong or the Pineberry, so no follow-up timing there. Close Slash is early, gets baited by J2K. That's the Raven classic. Every Raven gets away with that shit. Gets caught by the high. We will I guess like drive-by advice. We don't have to like talk about it a ton. But if you're ever in this situation, Raven cannot go low immediately. He basically just doesn't have the height to do it. The way that Ravens normally go low off of glide, Needle YRC, they can never go low as the first option. You always block glide here. Always block glide here. There's never the ability to fake it and then go low. It has to do with how low to the ground Raven is. In order for Raven to fake glide hits into lows, he needs more altitude, and he never gets enough off of Needle. So always block Needle YRC high on that first hit. And then it's like good luck. Because they could just do the sequence however they want, but he cannot go low at that altitude. Needle YRC is just block glide, and then they can mix you. Meaty glide, get smoked. Raven 4H the GOAT. Smeety smacked. It was like 4 command grabs. What was that? That felt like so many. I've never seen like Raven back to back to back command grab. I know that you can do it as long as you have a meter, but that just looked wonky. Gets caught by the last high. I guess another piece of like matchup drive-by advice. Not always. Technically, this is not always true, but most of the time it's true that if Raven hits you like this, if it's glide, Raven can do 3 high hitting attacks and then he has to go low. There's nothing that says he has to do all 3 of them technically, but that's like level 1 Ravens tend to do all 3 high hitting attacks. So glide 1, 2, 3. So if you're ever wondering like how the fuck do I block Raven at the beginning, it's usually block the glide and then block 3 high hits and then just block low, right? That's not necessarily always true, but a lot of Ravens for whatever reason at the beginning are just used to doing all the highs they can in the block string. So it's like block the 3 highs, then block low, and you'll usually block a lot of like beginner Raven stuff, just kind of like automatically. I'll pause and we'll see how true that is on like other sequences. 1, 2, 3 hits of high, but that was a combo, so it's a little different. OTG burst gives some space to work with. Jump back JD is obnoxious to deal with. I toss in a Pineberry. I like it. 1, 2, 3 hits of high off of the glide, right? Close slash gets baited. Oh my god, close slash the goat. It came out in time. Okay. Yeah. Ah, I didn't mean to do that. Actually, that kind of works though. We'll just go. We'll just skip to like much later. I want to watch like one more match. I think I probably have my few main bullet points. Maybe we'll sneak in one more match. See if I'll look at the timer after this. Nice. Nice. This is another piece of like drive-by advice. But if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but I'm almost positive. If you do bridle for the extension and you Roman cancel, it's a little like what I do with answer when I throw card YRC, where I don't actually like bother hit confirming it because it's a little actually Alpha has a better version. Basically, if you do bridle and you Roman cancel and you instantly pull Pineberry, I'm almost positive you have the frame advantage just barely to RC pull Pineberry and start a block string and they can't contest it. Like it's a frame trap, so I think they can reversal through it technically. I don't think it's a true block string. It might honestly be a true block string, but I don't think Bridal has that much block stun on it. My point is if they get hit and you pull Pineberry, the Bridal, if I'm not mistaken, in the corner right here, has enough like launch time on it that you'll pull Pineberry, see they got hit, and just do the combo. Or you'll pull Pineberry, they block the Bridal, and you just do your block string. But I'm almost positive off of like this hit, you just do that and you'll get away with it. I'm almost positive. That way you get like maximum value out of your pressure resets. Nothing like, it's not like the like super duper groundbreaking advice, but it is like if you're gonna do it, you might as well do that. I'm almost positive that's like the standard reset. It feels weird to do because like you basically don't care what they do as the defender. That's why it feels awkward because you're just like, well, shouldn't I hit confirm? And it's like, well, that's what you think. Bridal, get the pickup. A little late. to hit. Doom, doom, doom. A little bit of spaghettios. What was round start? Backdash? Jump back. That's not too bad. Also, right? I had a feeling it would come up. This is, so technically at this altitude up here, Raven can bait the low. Like, from this altitude, he has enough height, he doesn't have to go high. But notice, like I said, Ravens tend to do glide hit, 1, 2, 3, and then go low, or do their block string. There's usually not as much of a mix-up there as you might actually think if you've already blocked the initial high. Not a lot of Ravens are comfortable enough yet to really make a mix-up out of it. This won't kill, but the next hit should. 2H the go. That was super fake Okazeme. He's gonna get dicey. There's some Raven reversal supers coming. RC, run up. Yoink. Alright, that round's over. What time are we at? Watch one more. We can sneak one more in there. It's kind of a lot of watching, but I really want to, like, see a couple of things more. We're not technically not pressured for time, but I like being respectful of people's time. I also think shorter reviews are more productive, I'm realizing. People really only need bits and pieces early on. That was a Raven round. All right, hold on. Fighting chance. Yeah, so in this situation, you actually, as soon as you do this, and I mean as soon as you do it, like you roaming cancel, you just pull Pineberry, and then you do something like 5k. And it's like, I want to say it's like unfuckwittable unless they're mashing a super or a DP. It's the bait. Shot. 3 highs and then does the block string. Boom. Right. Disclaimer, by the way, there is a sneaky way. I don't exactly know all the specifics, but Raven can do 4 hits high using jump H. He can do a 4th high, but it is like setup specific. It is not like a thing he can always do. That's why I say most of the time. There is a way to get a 4th high. 5D finds its mark, but mid-screen 5D confirms are weird. Close slash. Pull pine. Yeah, there's actually something really big I noticed, and we'll talk about it. Might not seem like it, actually, but it is kind of a big deal. I'll get duffed. That should destroy 2H. Oh no, too off on the too far for the throw. Oh my god, back hit close slash. The goat. Well, this is potentially huge. It's kind of funky to get rid of the Pineberry here. Yeah, that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. Pineberry like resets are really unintuitive. Not resets, but extensions is the word. Really unintuitive if you're not ready for it. So I usually expect a lot of like beginner, intermediate Elphelts to like get thrown off by it. No Roman cancels. Interesting there. All right, here it comes. Oh, still no Roman cancel. So reserved. 3 highs. So notice, right? This is kind of how the mix-up works. And they still tried it, by the way, it looked like. They did a 1, 2, 3. No, they did just do 2. And then they did like throw. Hey, what's up, Bon? Remember when Raven Fireball was fucked up? Yeah, dude, we lived through that shit. Remember when Joey was carried? I used to think Joey was good at fighting games. And then I realized the character was just whack. That should be it. Okay. Kyrie yells at you every time you miss a pine combo. Well, I mean, extensions they're just unintuitive, man. Did I see the news? No. I don't think I know what you're talking about. Let me get my Discord out of the way. Alright. Switch to capture. You work at Riot now? Oh, let's go, dude. Good shit. That's fucking dope, man. I love that for you. Hell yeah. That's poggies as hell, man. Do you have to commute or does it work from home? Elphelt. I guess we'll put Raven, but there wasn't too much Raven stuff. Yeah, I figured it was the 2x KO thing with Jet. That's what I figured it was. Yeah, we'll put Raven because why not? It's hybrid, coming for meetings but at home. Nice. That is sick, man. We'll talk about it later. We'll definitely talk about it later. But big congrats. Big congrats. Crossing my fingers nothing falls through the cracks for you. Alright, some big things. We're going to talk about them. There is actually one very, very big elephant in the room that I noticed. And, it might not seem like a really big deal, but there were a lot of moments where you get a hit like this, you pull Pine, and then you run up and you press a button. Let me see. Right, so this might not seem like that big a deal, but let's say you get a hit like this. You pull Pine, you always run up and you do this. This is actually not how you do the sequence. You have to, not have to, I guess, technically. But you need to throw the Pineberry first here most of the time. It's actually, you're doing it backwards. It's almost always to do the Pineberry and then do your mix-up. Not vice versa. It will mess up your sequence here. It'll actually mess it up quite a bit. There's a couple of reasons you want to do this. The other big reason is that this is really long to come out. It takes forever to do your overhead on the mix-up here. So you want the Pineberry to help keep people on the floor, right? So let me see if I can do this right. This might not work exactly how I think. But let me see. Right. Oh, let me see. Oh, yeah, I had a feeling. Okay, so that makes sense. This is not like true meaty for a lot of spacings. But do you notice how, so if he's holding up and I do it correctly, like at the right distance, Pineberry without dashing is a meaty. The Raven is getting hit holding up here on wake up, right? This is important because this is how you force them to hold your mix up. Otherwise, people, if they're just disrespecting you, will just hold up versus you in this situation. And it happens sometimes. People will mash or they'll hold up or they'll do whatever and they'll just get a lot of free mileage on you, right? You tend to get these hits and you tend to get into this situation a bit, but you never have like quite the spacing or quite the timing to get this. Where even if they block it airborne, that's fine. But the Pineberry is just it's fast here, right? It's slightly slower than pressing 5k. So sometimes maybe there's a reason to do 5k into Pine Toss, right? Like we'll show that too real quick, right? So something like this. Oh my god, I had so much frame advantage I missed. Word. Now that's that slow Raven wake up timing. Right, so then you toss it. And then honestly at this point, like there shouldn't really be a reason for them to be holding up. So it'll turn into something like now the Pineberry's there. Now you can do your mix up, right? So like 5k into toss is good. Raw toss is good. But the idea is that you actually want the Pineberry out already. Because the hit confirm is 6p shotgun shot. And then the shotgun shot blows it up, right? So let's show real quick. Crouch block. Blocking disabled. So I just after first block. We'll do this. This should work. Oh, yeah, that's sweet. I guess that makes sense. I should have realized that. Oh, I missed the micro dash. Oh, I missed the micro dash again. Right. So, oh, it's been a minute. So you toss this, you do this. That is the confirm, right? The idea is that it actually doesn't really matter what the timer is on Pineberry if you're going for the 6p confirms, as long as you still have a timer on it, right? Like, it can be as late as you want, because the shotgun shot itself here is what sets you up for the hit confirm, right? The reason I mention this is because you actually hit quite a few 6ps. You just were always holding Pineberry. So you would do 6p, Pine Toss, and then it would hit them, and then you would try to shoot, and like, I think if you're far enough, that combos, but I don't think that combo is point blank. I'm almost positive, like, there might be some funny business here, because the timing isn't, like, quite there. You have to, like, go into shotgun shot, and it just won't really work out. So, if you're getting hits, and you're pulling Pineberry, throw the Pineberry as the meaty, and then do your 6p confirm. Like, do this. Oh, it's so weird to time. It's been so long. If you want to practice this, they make you do this combo in the trials. Trial mode will help you practice the hit confirm if you want to do it like that. This hit confirm is in trials. It's a corner combo they make you do. But yeah, you take the shot. If you're like, huh, they hit. Usually by now you see they get hit, and you can do a really good combo if you're ready. If you didn't opt for, like, so we'll do this, right? So it's like shotgun shot. If you see they get hit, usually I think micro dash close slash just like always picks up, or even just regular far slash probably picks up, honestly. Let me see. Oh, this has been a minute since I did this timing. Right? So you do that, or you go low, and that's like less common, but we'll say, let me see. Disabled stand, right? So this is how it looks if you go low, right? Like, low toss. I think you can do it, but you might need to... Let me see. This one is the one I'm iffy on. It might be shot, but it might also just be that you extend your combo on the low. I forget. I don't remember exactly how you go into shot. I could have sworn 2D into shot is fast enough. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm just not enough of a player. So... Right? You see how when you do the mix-up, the key to the mix-up is once you do, so if you do something like 5k, you might do like 5k close slash or far slash, right? 2D shot like this, right? The shot is what is blowing up the Pineberry. So if your initial mix-up off the meaty hits, it should always convert with the Pineberry because you're doing one shot mid-pressure, right? That's how this sequence works. Right, so you'll do, right, see how that works? Right, so you go low or you go high, right? The key here is like, when you get these hits, oh, it's been a while, right? Triggering the shot is what does the mix-up. So, use the Pineberry for Oki. Just in general, like, in general, it's really great. No matter how or where you get it, it doesn't really matter how you set the sequence up. You can do it mid-block string, actually, funny enough, right? Like, you can do what I was just saying a little earlier, right? So, you can do something like, let's see, wait, oh, because it's only first hit. Block everything. So, right? You can do pine pull. Actually, you're not supposed to toss there. That was just like a weird moment of weakness. Right? Right here, right? You can do pine toss. The Pineberry is out. When you go for 6p, if the 6p hits, boom, you're good. You fire the shot and you force the mix-up. That concept is not unique to Okazeme. It's anytime you can get in a closer range, like around where 6p is, and you have Pineberry on them, you can technically force that opportunity on them with a low or with the high, right? Sometimes it's a little more nuanced, depending on how the timer is, right? But this is a really important, like, level 1 thing to practice and master with Elphelt. You can actually even forego, like, if you're worried about timer stuff, you can get rid of, like, 5k early in block strings for the low and go straight into 2D. 2D is important because you basically need enough time for shot to actually kind of combo and have them in a situation where the Pineberry explodes. 2D, putting them airborne for a couple frames is why it works the way it does. You knock them down, they're airborne, the shot hits as they're getting like swept, and when the Pine Berry is there, the Pine Berry overrides, pops them in the air, and that's how the combo works, right? So what I'm saying is, like, even when you do it in block strings like this, whoops. Oh, it's been so long since I touched this character. Ah, just such unintuitive block strings. Right? That might not look like a big deal, all that like mishmash of buttons I did, but essentially what I did was I just did any block string, any good old block string into Bridal RC, pull the Pine Berry, throw the Pine Berry, like do a button, just do any block string again, basically. The Pine Berry isn't really something they can usually interrupt unless they have like a blitz opportunity or a reversal or whatever. Once the Pine Berry was out, I did 2D shotgun shot immediately, right? And the idea was once I threw the Pine Berry, like once this happened, it's either I do shotgun shot off the overhead or I do toss into low. This concept is just like, that's just how she works. You can do that at any point. That might seem like a really big thing, but it's a pretty big deal because you got a lot of hits, but your Okazeme isn't fleshed out. So learning to meaty with this and then run the high-low involving a shot for the hit confirm is a really big deal. I'm no Elphelt player, so it's up to you, right? Like, if you shoot and you reload, you can still get a combo off of it. It's just not as good mid-screen of a combo compared to doing one shot and then picking up outside of her shotgun stance. You'll get more reward. The trade-off is if somebody blocks this and you do this and you're not in shotgun stance. So like if I do let's see, you're not in a bad situation, but your pressure isn't as intimidating as it might have been if you stayed in shotgun, right? So shotgun mid-screen would be better pressure presence potentially. Not by a lot, but just, you know, it's technically better than regular alpha pressure. But it's lower reward. In the corner, like, you'll see it in trial mode. The combo can get pretty good. Like, you get pretty good reward out of this combo in the corner if you do it correctly. It's a little fancy, but in the corner, you actually can usually stay in shotgun stance after the hit confirm moment. And it's like, you'll still get equally rewarded and you have good pressure. If you find that weird or, like, you don't know the optimal combo, just hit confirm once with the shot. Just do one shot. Don't have to, like, you don't have to reload. Just this into this is enough. And if it doesn't, or if it doesn't happen, then it's like whatever. You would just go back into regular alpha pressure. Other than that, I was actually gonna say you should definitely be more patient on Wake Up. There comes a time when in every fighting game player's life where, like, you gotta block on Wake Up. This game specifically is very punishing on Okazeme. So, like, numbers-wise, it usually does not make sense to press buttons on Wake Up, right? There are infinitely better options usually at characters' disposals depending on the character, right? So, the TLDR on why you should do it is because, yeah, Blitz exists in this game, right? Like, someone might think, like, well, I have Blitz, and I blitzed once. Maybe they're gonna respect me. Not really, because Blitz is not that big of a reward. Numbers-wise, all I have to do to bait Blitz is pick a different meaty next time, if it's an option, right? Like, that's not that big a deal. A character's offense is not that, like, notably different doing 2k at the start or doing 5k at the start. They're essentially the same. It doesn't really change anything. However, the defender has to guess correctly on the Blitz, right? So, Blitz, while strong, is not enough of a, dissuader on, like, people just meeting you, right? Similarly, like, super is like one of those things where it's like an expected value thing. Like, super, yeah, is something people will maybe respect, but one, this game has a bajillion safe jumps. Like, there are so many ways to safe jump in this game on different characters, right? That supers might not be as hot as you think on Wake Up in general, but also it's expected value, right? It's like, yeah, you can eat a super, but it costs meter, right? That it's like, kind of like isn't the end of the world. You shouldn't expect people to always just respect because you have super. It's more likely for sure, but it's not impossible. Even backdashing, honestly, like even people backdashing on Wake Up doesn't necessarily dissuade the aggressor from doing their offense. They might just do their offense differently. It's very rare you're actually going to get the respect needed to ever, like, press a button, right? If you're worried about tick throwing, like somebody's tick throwing you a lot, then practicing fuzzy jump is not too hard. Even just holding up on wake up is, in my opinion, sometimes better than mashing, right? Especially because throws are 1 frame, so you might just get thrown anyway if you don't do it right. But yeah, patience on wake up. Just learn to block. If you're in your disrespect arc where you're just like feeling it out and trying different stuff because you don't think what they're gonna do is real, then do backdash. Practice your reversal backdash more. She has one of the better ones in the game, so you might as well practice it. Backdash far slash the goat. It's really good. It will hit at most ranges. Not all ranges, but like they're running up and doing a meaty, it always hits. It always hits at that distance if you're backdashing the meaty. Right? So test the waters with backdash, not mash. Similarly, wait till you get super. If you're gonna disrespect, you might as well test the waters with super a bit instead. But wake up mash, this is not a wake up mash game. So you got to cut that shit out. It's block or it's one of those other options. Like even blitz is fine, but try to hold back on how much you blitz if it's not a safe jump, because you don't have good reason to guess between a high or a low. There's a reason it's a big deal when people blitz each other at high level on wake up like that. It's a really big deal because you can easily be wrong if you had like just been slightly off. Let me think. The last thing is actually a little bit more vague, but it's not too big deal. It's basically just stay grounded more. Stay grounded more, especially if you're using Pineberry, like on the floor now, more like this. You do bridle, like this, and kind of like wait for the Pineberry to hit. So you do this, right? You go like right behind it, we'll say. Oh, I missed timing up. So, backdash. So you do like this, wait for the Pineberry, right? The Pineberry kind of comes in a little bit later than you. The bridle is more just to like, it's more to get in than it is to make contact, if that makes sense. If it makes contact, that's actually not necessarily what you want. Depends on the spacing, right? Like maybe around here, it's okay for the bridle to hit first, right? Like if you do this into like the bridle. Timing is weird. It's a spacing game. It's not a one size fits all. See how that wasn't spaced well? Usually you'd have to watch better Elphelt players to get a feel for it, but my point is like, if you do this, let the Pineberry hit, and then follow up afterwards. Don't feel like you need to actually hit with bridle. Like, bridle's not actually kind of what you want to do there. You want the Pineberry to hit, the bridle is just the fastest way to, like, run behind the Pineberry. You can also just do it regularly. There's nothing that says you can't just do this. Bridle's just an easy way to do it. But yeah, stay on the ground more. She's got really good ground buttons. Dive kick is cool and all, and if it makes contact, it's good value, but it's committal in a way that Elphelt doesn't actually have to be, is the big difference. Her buttons are great on the floor. If you're gonna jump back, JD is the end-all be-all for a lot of Elphelt players. Air dash back JD, descending JD YRC is like really good in a lot of matchups. Right, but staying grounded is fine, especially if you're already comfortable throwing Pineberry out. Use it as your free starter in a lot of situations. Use it to get in, to force them to respect that space, right? Because like it happened with Citriux, if people aren't good at pushing Pineberry away, all it really needs to do is make contact for you to run up and start doing stuff. It sounds like it shouldn't work, but you would be very surprised. But that's why I say, like, air movement is kind of committal, and is scrambly and leads to more inconsistent confirms. So if you're not ready for it, it's a lot harder to play in the air than it is on the floor. It's a lot easier to just rip things like 6H into pine pole. It's a lot easier to just run up and press your far slash. It's really easy to underrate this button. Obviously, this character specifically is not the best character to do run up far slash versus, right? You might time it wrong. You might dash through it in that moment. But in general, this is a really, really strong far slash in the game. You should not feel dissuaded from using this in a lot of matchups. There are a couple characters that have better far slashes than you. Raven has a better far slash. Kai's got a better far slash. Sins is about the same in my opinion. It reaches a little farther, but it's not like that big a deal, right? But a lot of the game, right? Like a lot of the characters do not have the range that you have on your far slash. So you can just kind of harass with it. It might feel weird because it's more intuitive to start your pressure on lights than it is like slashes and heavies, right? But this distance is good. Like, this distance is fine. From this distance, you can pine pull. From this distance, you can enter shotgun if you feel more comfortable in shotgun. From this distance, you could even IAD. It's just not a particularly great idea for Elphelt because she doesn't really need to do this. and her IAD is a little high and a little far reaching, so it can tend to whiff if you don't do it correctly, right? But there's a lot of playing in the air, and I would say like the short answer is basically stay on the ground more. And if you're not too sure what to do, watch a little bit of other Elphelt players, but also challenge yourself to find what to do on the ground. The big thing is, if you've noticed, Elphelt is one of the few characters where if you're ready for it, she gets knockdowns off of her pokes, right? So other characters might take to the sky because they're like, huh, well, even if I hit far slash like this, it doesn't combo into anything, right? It doesn't combo even into scratch, right? Like, he presses far slash and nothing happens. It's purely a zoning tool. But with Elphelt, it's like, huh, if I press far slash, I might actually get a knockdown if I'm ready for it, right? You can practice this in training mode. I was talking about this the other day, where it's hard, but it is doable, right? Where if you hit the hit, you just like go into 5H. It's a big part of why her far slash is that attack level, if I had to guess, right? Is because when I see a block animation, I don't go into it, but I press 5H if I see it. Yeah. Level 3 far slash, you're one of the very few in the game. It's just her, Johnny, and yeah, Koom. I couldn't remember the other character. I could have sworn Leo might have level 3 far slash, but maybe not. It's because it's really slow startup, so I wouldn't be surprised. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, the big reason, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, you want to stay on the floor because you get all these knockdowns on the floor, right? Like stuff like dive kick is funky. Look at the frame advantage. It doesn't really, if you're not getting the knockdown, it's not quite the Okizeme that you're like wanting to get. See how I don't have the frame advantage I want here? I don't have the frame advantage to pull Pineberry and throw it. It's just not enough. You can see Raven standing up like while I'm pulling it, basically, right? Oh, whoops. Let me see. See how like I'm still like mid recovery on Pine Toss. I'm about to finish recovering and he's already like up, basically. So if it's not a counter hit, this isn't that rewarding, and she's not great at doing stuff like air dash back into air dash forward. She's not, despite how good JD and dive kick are, she's actually not really built to be in the air as much as she is on the floor. And especially if you go in your training mode, your hit confirm off this a little bit, right? Like this. Then you're going to find staying on the ground feels really rewarding. Because you're going to do this, you're going to toss Pineberry, and you're going to start learning hit confirms off of the block strings. Right? So those are like the big three things I would say. Stay on the ground more, use your Pineberry for Oki, and learn the hit confirm using 6P shot or 2D shot or going low and then doing the shot late, etc. If you watch MKJ or like any other intermediate Elphelt player, you'll notice pretty quickly what they do to hit confirm off of the Pineberry, but you'll notice the Pineberry is always out first. The other thing is just be more patient on wake up in terms of like actually opting for mashing on wake up. If you're gonna pick a reversal option, try backdash a lot more instead and feel that option out instead. It doesn't have like a perfect success rate. It's pretty easy for people to like OS if they're trying to catch backdash. It's not like that complicated to catch it, honestly, but it does require them to know OSs, so that changes things a bit. The dynamic is a little different, but yeah, those are the big things. Focus on those for now. Focus on those. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I have no other reviews. I have no other reviews. I think I'll just cut my VOD. I think it's just a short review day. I'll probably play unless somebody is really like, ooh, let me get my review. Like, we can do like an impromptu one if somebody wants to. But otherwise, I think there's no harm in me just cutting the VOD here. I'll probably still stream, but I might maybe get food right now. I don't know. I'm not that hungry, but I don't want to push it off too late either. It's already 3. But I'll probably cut it here. It's like a speak now or forever hold your peace, I guess, if somebody wants to. But it's chill. I kind of figured these were gonna like mellow out over time, and I would only get maybe like 4 or 5 or something, but that's fine. The whole point is I do it every other week, so there's no reason to like force maximum reviews every time. It's just like a resource people can use if they want, basically. But it seems like everyone is good. I don't think anybody like is looking to get like an impromptu VOD review or whatever. So I'm going to cut the VOD. I'll go live again because why not? It doesn't really change anything. But I'm going to cut the VOD because I hate video editing. So I'm going to cut the VOD so I can just upload it to YouTube as it is now. I'll be right back. Give me like